Alright, welcome to Cooking Conspiracy, and we're gonna make some creamy shrimp pasta, kind of like shrimp Alfredo. I don't really know what shrimp Alfredo is, but I think it's like butter, cream, and Parmesan cheese, maybe. Does that sound right? Probably some garlic thrown in there. But either way, it's going to be a creamy shrimp pasta. I'm gonna use linguine as my noodle, and then I'm not gonna use too many noodles because, and that's the sacrilegious, I know. But I'm gonna replace some of the volume of the noodles with broccoli. Just trying to keep it a little bit healthier so I can have Miller Lite. You know, gotta balance. Balance is key. And hydration is key too. Got a big hike scheduled for tomorrow. Gotta get it in tomorrow because Saturday is going to be a college football day. So, without further ado, the order of operations is very important in this. So I'm gonna get a pot of water boiling. I'll back burner it, prep all my ingredients, and then once I actually start cooking, this recipe will move pretty fast. So that was a good one. Benny. Yeah, boiling water is a back burner activity. But we'll get that up to temperature, and let's figure out what we're going to need here. Alright, so I got these sad looking, previously frozen shrimp. I thawed them out under warm water. It took about 2 seconds. Actually, running water took maybe a minute or so. But that's going to be the protein here. And I'll season those right before I put them in the pan. I'm not familiar what the new KSI song is, but if I knew I would, but I'm guessing it's not really my style. Might as well get some little fancy bowls to put stuff in. Ooh, wrong burner. Make sure you turn on the right burner. Let's see here. Got a shallot, so that's going to have to get diced. So that's as good of a starting point as any. And as always, make sure you got a trash bowl. Peel your shallot. I don't know why I'm using a shallot. I don't normally do it, but when I looked on the quick and dirty YouTube, old Gordon Ramsay was using a shallot, so here I am. It's the smallest looking shallot I've ever seen, but we'll do the job. So let's go ahead and just do a couple dices horizontally. Couple vertical. And then just give it a fine little dice. Not too fine, otherwise it'll just burn and that's not cool, but you know, that's about the size I want. Let's do the same thing with this one. Oh, whoops, went right through. A little bit enthusiastic, that's okay. You keep the root together, it holds the onion in place or whatever. I mean, just a shrimp pasta, a creamy shrimp pasta, kind of like shrimp Alfredo, but we'll see. We'll see if it ends up doing it. So right now I'm just getting my ingredients prepped. So when the pasta is boiling, we can sit here and talk about nothing. You know, it's gonna be beautiful. So got my shallot ready to go. Let's see here. What else do we need? Let's get a couple cloves of garlic. We're gonna grate these, I guess. You know, and then the smaller your garlic is, well, maybe I won't grate them, or just finely dice it. Doesn't really matter. But the smaller your garlic is, the quicker it'll be to cook, the more garlic it'll give off, but also the quicker to burn. So, but if you really want it to just dissolve into nothing, you should grate it. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to, you know, cut my fingers on the grater. But I might show you just in case. You know, giving it a little slappy slap with the knife helps the skin come right off. But you might puncture it by that, or crush it, whatever. Crushing it will also help it give off some nice good garlic flavor. And yeah, we're gonna just finely dice that up. And there's more than one way to do this. Feel free to use a paring knife, but I'm not going to because that'd be one more thing to clean. So, and listen, I'm just cooking for myself tonight, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to taste good to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a hero with this, just nice small pieces. Don't cut yourself. I'm not going full of Goodfellas with the razor blade thin garlic. You don't need to. So, I got shallot. I got garlic. Got my linguine. Heavy cream. Parmesan, broccoli, you know, we'll see about that. I'm undecided on that one. And some Chardonnay. And some shrimp. So let's get the protection off of this Parmesan, and then let's get some of that grated up. Now you want to use freshly grated Parmesan when you put it in the sauce, because one, it tastes better. Two, a lot of the pre-shredded stuff has like preservatives and junk in it that makes it all clumpy and it doesn't melt together as good. I have a box grater here. Now let's be honest, who doesn't love a good box? Pro tip, put it on top of a plate, and that way, if you buy the cheap Parmesan like this is, it's not even real Parmesan, it's made in America. But if it's too crumbly, you can always throw it in the freezer to make it hard. you definitely want it small so it'll melt. But give it a taste test here. That tastes good. Good enough. Probably won't get this brand again, but my options were limited. I mean, I was slightly frustrated that Pecorino Romano cost double as much as this small wedge of Parmesan. Not that I was going to get Pecorino, because I was going to get it anyways for some other stuff. But I was really frustrated at self-checkout when it was like double the price. So, not pissed. That should be enough Parmesan here. And I'm only really making probably about 2 servings because I'm just cooking for me and I'm hungry. Well, don't fill up on cheese as much as you want to. Let's go around the broccoli. Now this is just to, you know, prevent me from eating a ton of noodles tonight. Well, I love pasta. Pasta is so good. I am going to do a lot of cardio, kind of a long workout. Might do a cocoa head hike or something tomorrow. But, you know, it's just like a bunch of steps into oblivion. So I do need some energy. So I'm not too worried about the diet tonight. I'm more worried about good food. So we got that prep. We got that prep. The wine isn't open yet. That's an issue because I want everything close at hand when I'm cooking. Got some shrimp here. So the water on the back burner is almost ready to boil. That's good. Now, when I'm cooking with wine, I always use a wine that I would be happy to drink with the meal because that's the flavor it's going to leave with the dish and it helps it to pair really nicely. Some dishes you can get away with cooking wine, but I mean, why would you? I mean, you're not going to use a ton. And just get your basic Kendall Jackson, you know, $10 bottle here. So it's good enough to drink, good, but yet still not so expensive you get mad cooking with it. What's going on, Monkey Davis? How are you doing tonight? Alright, might need a measuring cup or something to snag some pasta water, so I got that ready. I got something to stir with. So I'm prepped. I'm doing pretty good, you know. Don't have work tomorrow, so that's always a win. So celebrate by making a little pasta dinner here. Some Miller Lite. You know, and maybe I'll get fancy and drink the Chardonnay. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it's a chill night, you know. But we got all our ingredients prepped, more or less. Now, you're going to use linguine because linguine works good for this. Catches the sauce nicely. Read the package. It says al dente perfection in 10 to 11 minutes. That means when it sticks to your tooth or whatever. So I'm probably going to cook it for about 8 minutes or so because you're going to finish it in that cream sauce or whatever. Now you can ballpark it by putting it in a bowl and seeing how much you have. It's always better to have a little too much than a little too little. It's probably about 1 good serving there, and I am supplementing the pasta with broccoli. I could weigh it out if I was being real technical, but that's like a Monday sort of situation, and today's Thursday, so we're not going to do that. Pasta water back there is boiling good, but you would be wrong if you just put your pasta in. You gotta prepare your battle space with a nice handful of salt in there. You may have heard some, this or that about lowering the boiling point of the water. Oh, that's a lie. There's not enough salt to make a difference in there. But what it does do is it does season the pasta as it cooks. You'll drain most of it off when you drain your pasta, but it does. Let's set a timer. 8 minutes should be good on that. But it does season your pasta nicely, and the pasta is the critical portion of this. So, if it's done a little early, you can set it off the side. Always reheat it, get it back in the game. Give it some Gatorade. Just kidding. Don't give it any Gatorade. So that's good to go. So let's get this pan preheated. I'm using stainless. Hopefully I don't butcher it. If you don't cook with stainless a lot, just use a non-stick pan. It'll work great for this. Yeah. But with stainless steel, you want to preheat it, and that way it acts like a non-stick. But, yeah, this is what I do on my evenings. And I'm glad to have all of you, all one of you, with me. Or all four of you, it's all good. I imagine it's not dinner time for most of you, That's the bummers of being on an island in the middle of the Pacific. I hate these coil stoves. They take forever to heat up. Easy to overdo it, heating up too much, too little, or whatever. So just have some patience. Eventually we'll get to where you can feel it's ready to go. Obviously I'm touching the pan, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Eventually it gets up to temperature, and then it's a champ. But give it another minute or so, then we're going to throw some olive oil in there to cook our shrimp first and foremost. And we're going to pull that out, and we'll do our vegetables, throw in some butter, garlic, some heavy cream, and then our Parmesan. We'll simmer it, we'll never boil it, and we'll reintroduce our shrimp, and then throw enough noodles right on top of it. So that's the game plan, and we're getting a little bit closer to that. And let's be honest, if it doesn't come from Italy, it's not Parmesan cheese, it's just some sort of imposter. Italy really should crack down on that, because this ain't the same. It'll work, but it's not the same. But, Da 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 da. Yeah, sorry, this one's kind of boring, but you know, I'm just cooking my Thursday night dinner. Alright. Alright, that's getting close. Still needs another 30 seconds or so, and then it'll blow by the temperature I want it at. You know, and I still haven't decided which one of them is my favorite burner. And for those of you that don't have the $10,000 stoves, you have a favorite burner. Don't pretend that you don't. Perfect. Do you see how the water droplets kind of skitter around? That's how I know that my pan's not too hot, not too cold. It's ready for the cooking fat. What in this case is going to be some extra virgin olive oil. Give that half a second. You know, just enough time to season my shrimp, salt. You know, we're going to give it a little bit of chili powder. I probably should have done this the shrimp a second ago. Garlic powder. And I just shake the shrimp up. I'm sure it's all good to go. Straight into the oil. These shrimp are going to take no more than, I don't know, a minute or so. They're not going to take long. They're really small. You probably don't even need to flip them, but put them in a single layer. They all got some oil. I think the stove is slanted too, but you know, but master does not blame their tools. Not sure where that rice noodle came from. Toss them around. I mean, flipping each individual noodle is not that crucial, I promise you. Meanwhile, I'm going to pull a little bit of that starchy pasta water out of there. And, you know, you don't need a ton, but I'm just going to set that aside in case I need to thin my sauce later. Because that pasta is about ready to come out. Give it another shaky on this. Okay, those shrimp are done. So before we burn them, this soldier's got to come out. I don't want raw shrimp in with my cooked shrimp. Alright, put them in the holding pen. Now what are we going to do? We're going to turn the heat down on that. And we'll throw that shallot in there. Meanwhile, the pasta's ready to come off in a little bit. You know, I don't want to put the garlic in while it's too hot. So I'm going to prepare some butter. And adding butter in the pan will cool it down, as well as, you know, put butter in the pan. But everybody likes butter in the pan. But I'm not trying to make way too much sauce. I'm trying to buy myself some time. Make sure you get all the butter wrapper out. In it goes. Let that shake it up. Let it melt. We're going to drain our pasta. Alright, sit on the other burner and let that pasta drain off. Give it a little shake, you can cover it. Some people put a little drizzle of olive oil on it to keep it from sticking when it goes back in. So sure, we'll do that. And just a little shaky shake. There, that's good. That timer's going to piss me off. I'm going to get that shallot in the butter. Get the broccoli in there. That'll take a little bit. Yeah, I probably messed up the order on that. Penny, chill out. I'm making a video. put some sort of cover on your pasta noodles to keep them warm. And this broccoli is going to have a little bit of a crisp to it. I'm okay with that. And I'm okay that the noodles were done with ahead of time. I mean, that's alright. But you know what you can always do? You can always add more butter. Look at that. And you can see the force of gravity taking it down that way. And that broccoli will be fine. The shallots are cooking nicely. And don't want anything to burn, obviously. And garlic can be pretty sensitive. It can go quick. As soon as you really start to smell garlic, it's overcooked. I highly encourage you, if you have a gas stove, never to take it for granted. Never let them take your gas stove from you. Just trying to get a little bit of color on the garlic, get it to that sweet spot. And I'll get better at this as I get used to my stove with temperature control or whatever. But you can always cook it more afterwards. I mean, it's not like you want to sear garlic, but we got the butter going now. And just for kicks and giggles, a little bit of chili in there. It's going to make it a little bit harder to tell when your garlic's done, but I will rely on my nose. Sometimes when you put spice in there, the butter kind of clumps up with it, but that's okay. Yeah, give it a smell test, you know. This is a good situation for a smell test, I tell you what. Okay, that's going to be good to go. So now the cream's a little bit sensitive. You definitely don't want to boil the cream. I don't know how much I put in there, but see how it's boiling at the edges? So I don't want that, so I'm going to take it off the heat, move it around. I turn the heat down, let some of the heat dissipate on that burner. I'm just going to keep stirring it and pretend that everything's alright, because it is. Now I can start melting in some of the Parmesan, as well as add in some of the wine. That might be too much, but they'll boil off, they'll be fine. It's been a while since I've done this one, and I'm a little bit out of practice. Taste it as you go. Now, if you have a virgin wine, you can definitely use a substitute like lemon juice, would work really good as well. I'm not claiming to be a pro at Alfredo. I don't really make it a whole lot. But definitely controlling the temperature on your sauce is pretty critical on this one. and it's still very liquidy. And if you give it a taste, it's very good, but some of that wine still needs to cook off before it's ready for consumption. Yeah. Because you don't want it too runny when you put your noodles in, otherwise it won't stick. You don't want it to boil, but it's okay for it to simmer off. Anyways, I screwed up. I should have put the wine in right after the shrimp. Just a deglazed pan. I put a little too much in, but guess what? It doesn't matter. It'll be fine. Don't let it burn. Because if you look, it's still pouring off. I want it to drip off. And then once it's dripping off, then I will put my noodles in. Actually, I'll probably put my shrimp in before the noodles, just so they can get back up to temperature, because nobody wants to eat a cold shrimp, you know. It's like, there are some things that just have bad connotations. You say cold fish, nobody likes it. You say raw fish, that's not attractive. But oh my God, if you say sushi, that's a nice date night. But if you tell someone, hey, I'm going to take you out to eat some raw fish, it's all about the phrasing and context, you know? We're getting closer. That's still a little bit too fast of a drip rate. Now to thicken it up, you can do two things. You can either let it simmer and get the liquid off, or you can add a little bit more cheese and that'll naturally thicken it up. You might be able to add some other thickening agent, but I'm not going to do that because it would not be as good, and then you're adding flavors that you might not want. But a little bit more Parmesan cheese won't hurt the situation. It never does. So let's give it a quick grate. We're not going crazy here. We're not trying to hit a home run. All we're trying to get with this one is a nice base hit. So another bit of Parmesan, just sprinkle it all around. Don't overload it. There we go. That's starting to thicken up nicely. You see that? Not quite there. Now the critical error I made was putting in too much wine. So that's why we're still simmering it off. And that's also why I cook the shrimp first, just in case I did this, then the shrimp won't be overcooked. We're almost there. The flavor's there, I'll tell you what. Alright, you see how it's kind of a little bit slower to fill in the holes? Kind of like a road repair crew in Michigan, except, you know, they actually fill in. Shrimp go back in. Let's go ahead, get those in there. You see how everything is just coating up beautifully? Now I think we're ready for the noodles. What do you think? What's going on, Seven Fulcrum? Welcome back. Been good. Back in Hawaii, life's good. Now linguine goes in. you know, maybe it's stuck together a little bit. But guess what? I don't care. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of shake. That cream sauce is getting nice and thick. You see how it's catching on the noodles nicely. You know, I don't know why I couldn't figure out. Yeah, thanks, Evan Fulcrum. How have you been? But yeah, don't know why I couldn't think of the word stick, but I'm not cooking in a restaurant, so timing's not that important to me. But make sure to turn the heat off. Now, the sauce will continue to thicken, so let me make sure I got a possible to put it on. Give it a little taste test there. Good. It passes. Now, I'll tell you what, if you don't have possibles in your kitchen, you're wrong. Look at that. Now, then off to the side, you could definitely garnish it with pasta and all that, you know. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of parm on top. And then the broccoli gives enough green. Oh, nice. Good type of work, man. Alright. Now you don't need to eat all this, but I'm going to, because any cream-based dish, in my opinion, is never the same the second day. But first I'm going to get a picture, because you people like thumbnails. All right. Now I cooked the pasta a little short on the dente to finish in the sauce. So probably could have cooked it a little bit more, so it's a little bit chewy, but yeah, I don't mind it. The sauce is really what you're after here. You know what? It's missing something. Feel free to give it a good crack or two of black pepper over the top. You could do the lemon zest stuff, but quite frankly, I've never really been impressed with the taste of lemon zest, so I very rarely do that. It's too easy to get the pithy mess in below. I'll be right back. Alright. The dogs were being little terrorists. I had to investigate. That's good. Now, I made this chocolate caramel sauce the other day, but you know, it's just me, so obviously I didn't use all of it. I made way too much. I don't have a microwave, I don't know how to get it soft again. So what I'm gonna try to do is melt it on the stove top without setting anything on fire. So I got this little pan, I got this cold bowl. That burner's still hot, I don't want to set anything on it. Let's fill this with water. So we're gonna put this on the stove top and just see what happens. We'll put the stove on it like a 2. We'll see what happens. If it works, I get dessert. If I don't, I don't, you know. But dessert is hard. Sometimes it's tough to beat vanilla sundae with a good chocolate sauce. I might even put some nuts on top of it. Not these nuts, but macadamia nuts and pecan nuts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, debating what I'm gonna make tomorrow for dinner. I'm gonna try to make some long form videos or whatever. You know, just the live streams are a lot easier than doing actual video editing. You know, who has time for that? Mm-hmm. Big fan of frozen shrimp. Big fan. Remember to keep your cream in the refrigerator. Nice creamy broccoli shrimp mess. Notice how I ate the pasta first, because pasta is way better than broccoli. But you can do a little bit of substitution and it works out almost as good. But people like eating broccoli with cheese on it, so why not a cream sauce? It's much more fun if you make airplane noises when you eat. Now, if you are going to let your dogs lick the bowl, who do you think I am, Deva Pasha? Of course there's wine. Can't make pasta without wine. But if you're going to let the dog lick the bowl, make sure there's no garlic in there. Come on, Penny. Here you go. Come. It's just pre-washed before the dishwasher. Up a little bit. So, see this solid mess of chocolate sauce? I'm trying to get it to be, it's actually chocolate caramel sauce. So you know it's sticky, and you know it's amazing. And I'm trying to reuse it. So, let's go ahead, put some water in a pan, put the bowl on top. I don't know if that's what they call a double boiler. I'm not too worried about it. But the idea is to heat it up gradually so it becomes good again. Yeah. But how are you doing tonight, Dev Pashar? And I know I'm butchering that, I'm sorry. And a little shrimp Alfredo or creamy shrimp pasta. Threw a little bit of Chardonnay in the sauce. It was pretty good, you know. This is what I got left of it. I ate it all. To kind of reduce the calories a little bit, I replaced a lot of about half of the noodles I would normally eat with broccoli. So it's not as good, but it does cut the calories. So yeah. Well, as you can see, it was nice and creamy. That bowl's ceramic, so that's going to take a little while to heat up. So I guess I better get that water moving, you know. My idea was to be gentle, but sometimes you need to be a little bit rough. We're literally watching grass grow here, folks. But that's okay. That's what we do here. Meanwhile, if you're still cooking, that's a pretty good standard practice to clean up as you go. I never do it though, because especially if you're living with other people, if you wait long enough, somebody else will clean it up. And if you're living by yourself, it doesn't really matter. Okay, well, we got some steam going there. It's gonna work. I feel it. We're starting to melt. We're making progress. So, I guess I gotta get my ice cream scooper ready. I'm sure I have one of those around here somewhere. Turn the heat down there now that I got some steam. Oh yeah, this was an old one from my mother, and you can tell because it's cheap. No, it'll work. Oh yeah. We're making progress. You see how it's starting to loosen up a little bit? Another minute or two, and we will be slowly spooning chocolate caramel sauce over vanilla ice cream. How exciting is that? This is also a great way to melt chocolate. Come on, Penny, out. Oh yeah, that steam's going good now. Oh yeah, bottom layers are melted. We'll just let that go for a little bit longer. Let's start heating up this little guy. Because we want some toppings on our ice cream sundae, yeah? I know what we don't want on it is we don't want broccoli or onions. So make sure you got a clean cutting board, people. And by that, I mean no floaties. This quick wipe out. Okay. We'll call this little clear bowl our staging area. Got these macadamia nuts. We don't want a ton because I'm not a huge fan of them, but you know, eat local, right? Just about that amount. Let's stir some pecans in there. Oh wait, the pecans are already chopped. That's okay. We'll just segregate the macadamians from the pecans. Either way, they're all going in the pan. Make sure you're not going to get any extraneous additions from your chopping knife. And then let's just make those nuts a little bit smaller. Not like you're Mr. Squirrel for the winter. Anyway. You want them all in nice big pieces. Now, you want nuts in small pieces. You know what else you want? You want warm nuts. You don't want cold nuts. So we're just going to throw those into a dry pan and see what happens. Toast those off. Oh yeah, we're almost done on the chocolate sauce. Look, it's melting. Oh man, it's burning my fingers. That's going to be hot caramel sauce. Or chocolate, hot caramel sauce with melted chocolate. It's going to be delicious. Oh yeah, that's a ceramic bowl, so that's hot. So don't touch it with your skin. Not quite there, almost. Yeah, this was kind of a bonus. Just working on making my dessert. Turns out you can make vanilla ice cream fancy. Alright, I think it's time to get the ice cream out of the refrigerator. Freezer. freezer burn piece off the top. Get that out of the way early. A little bowl here. Got a little bit of situation. Ice cream's hard. Let's see if I can scoop it out. If you can, obviously my freezer is not cold enough. And obviously my ice cream scoop needed to be washed before I used it, but we're going to just pretend that all is normal. I did not turn my ice cream bright. That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with that ice cream scoop. Let's take a spoonful of that chocolate syrup. Sorry, that caramel chocolate sauce. That's right over the top. You can drizzle it. You can dab it. You can drizzle it. You know what? But I think I'm going to scoop it. Oh, yeah. Now, got some toasted nuts. We'll just throw those on top nicely. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You can turn your heat off now. But, boys and girls, that's what you're looking for on your dessert. I've toasted macadamia nuts and pecans with a chocolate caramel sauce over vanilla ice cream. Made out of ingredients you keep at the house. I mean, butter, sugar, cream, vanilla ice cream. Who doesn't have vanilla ice cream in their freezer? And I'm afraid I need more chocolate caramel because it's that good. Oh man. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure your oven's off. It's been a pleasure talking with y'all tonight. A bit quiet, but that's okay. I got my ice cream sundae to keep me company. Try to get a long video on how to make the chocolate caramel sauce out tomorrow. No promises though. Because I still got all of that left. And when the chocolate and caramel and vanilla all melts together. I'm like Happy Gilmore laying on that bench in his happy place. Rest in peace, Chubbs.